Welcome to today's discussion on a critical topic, the intersection of Pan-Africanism, diversity, equity, and inclusion, commonly known as DEI. These principles are not just buzzwords, they are part of the historical fight for justice, fairness, and empowerment. Joining me is Gerry McCants, a Pan-Africanist and a business leader who has championed equity and inclusion in his career. Welcome, Gerry.
Welcome. Thanks, Peter. I'm happy to be a part of this conversation on Pan-Africanism and DEI, which are, I would say, indirectly interconnected. They both advocating for dismantling systems of oppression and creating diverse voices for all and diverse thought.
Pan-Africanism has long stood for the unification and empowerment of people of African descent. Leaders like Du Bois, Garvey, and Nkrumah laid the foundation for a global movement focused on justice and inclusion.
Exactly. These leaders just didn't fight against colonial rule. They also fought for inclusion in governance, in economic systems, political systems, and the opportunity to make decisions. They understood the true independence that it required for unity and equity.
Today, DEI has become a global movement. However, it faces resistance, especially from groups pushing back against inclusivity initiatives. How can Pan-Africanism respond?
Pan-Africanists must recognize that DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, is an extension of our historical struggles and past. DEI ensures that marginalized people have a seat at the table. When corporations embrace DEI, they invest in diverse talent, equitable practices, and inclusive cultures.
DEI is not just a social justice framework. It's also an economic driver. Research shows that diverse teams perform better, innovate more, and drive higher profitability.
Exactly, Peter. We're challenging the efforts of dismantling DEI. We're trying to protect fairness and equity. We're trying to safeguard the rights of future generations.
So how can Pan-Africanists actively resist attempts to undermine DEI? Here are 5 strategies. Number 1, economic empowerment. Number 2, grassroots movements. Number 3, historical parallels. Number 4, global coalitions. And number 5, policy advocacy.
Peter, we really have to change the narrative on DEI as an economic development or economic empowerment tool. There's a major cost to investing in our future collectively. We've got to be able to mobilize organizations across the board who really champion diversity and equity and inclusion strategies and solutions. And this makes for a stronger economy. But I need to say that we've been fighting this issue for some time now. And I think we've got to shift gears and really focus on what's important as a people.
Thank you, Gerry. I think you're correct. It's imperative that we connect DEI resistance to historical struggles, which reminds us that this fight is not new. It's a continuation of the struggle for justice.
Absolutely, it is. It's always going to be a challenge, particularly when you're talking about who controls the power. who has the opportunity to make the rules, and who has the opportunity to create legislation that impacts DEI. And I think this is where we're in the time, we're in this time now where DEI is being challenged, and we've got to be really, really aggressive about what's going to help the next generation of young folk.
Again, Gerry, I think you're on the money, and pardon the pun, but yes, you are on the money. DEI and Pan-Africanism are not just ideas, they are commitments to building a fairer, more inclusive world.
As you know, we're going to remain vigilant and united in this fight. Together, we can ensure that the principles of DEI are not only preserved, but are strengthened for generations to come.
Thank you again, listening audience, for joining us. Subscribe to our channel for more conversations about building a more equitable future.